I would totally support a baseball or football team called the Whites or the Fighting Caucasians. Hell yeah, that would be awesome. All right, I've been meaning to mention this, and I've got a few things to say about it. President Trump over the weekend launched a pressure campaign to force the Washington Commanders football team to change their name back to the Redskins. Fox News has the latest. President Donald Trump threw a curveball into the NFL world over the weekend when that's a mixed metaphor. That's no good. Threw a curveball into the NFL world. You can't. That's baseball. That's just, you got to rework the opening sentence there. Anyway, how about he did a trick play or something like that? I don't know. Quarterback sneak. Anyway, over the weekend when he threatened to put the Washington Commanders RFK Stadium site in jeopardy if they didn't change its name back to the Redskins. And Trump wrote on Truth Social, the Washington whatevers should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team. There's a big clamoring for this, Trump wrote. Likewise, the Cleveland Indians, one of the 6 original baseball teams with a storied past. Our great Indian people in massive numbers want this to happen. Their heritage and prestige is systematically being taken away from them. Times are different now than they were 3 or 4 years ago. We're a country of passion and common sense. Owners get it done. And then he followed up later. He was also saying that he's going to, as it said, he's going to potentially hold up what's happening with the stadium, the new stadium, if they don't get this done. And he says, my statement on the Washington Redskins is totally blown up, but only in a very positive way. I may put a restriction on them if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of the ridiculous moniker Washington Commanders. I won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington. The team should be much more valuable, and the deal will be more exciting for everyone. Okay, so and this was like on Sunday, getting into the week, they're talking about this. Now, I don't think this is going to happen. They're not going to change it back to Redskins. Like, it's not going to happen. It just won't. And I will say, I have to say to start with that, look, this whole thing does strike me as a pretty unsubtle attempt to change the subject. Okay, it is hard for me to stomach the idea that Epstein is a boring and unimportant and dumb story, as Trump has said. But the name of the football team in Washington isn't boring, dumb, or unimportant. I mean, that's the problem. You can't come out and say, this is totally ridiculous. Why are we talking about this? It doesn't matter. And then a few days later, launch into a series, like spend a day talking about the name of the football team in Washington. How in the world is that important enough to require the President of the United States to not only speak out about it, but to get involved actively? So that's important enough for that, but not the Epstein files? Like that doesn't make any sense. So when critics claim that this pivot to the Redskins is kind of a ploy to change the subject, yeah, I think it is. Just being honest, and I know it's going to annoy some of you that I'm saying that, even though you know I'm right, it's going to annoy you because like, yeah, but be a team player. We all know that, of course, that's what he's doing, but don't say it out loud. But I don't, that's a game I don't play. I'll be honest. I'll say out loud whatever I happen to think about a subject, and I'm not going to worry about, well, we don't want to say that because we got to think about the strategy. I'll fully admit I'm not as worried about strategy. I'm just going to tell you what I think, right? That's what I consider my job to be. And so in this case, yeah, this is very clearly an unsubtle attempt to change the subject, and kind of clunky and clumsy, and it doesn't work, and it's too transparent, So just like strategically, it doesn't work anyway. And I don't even think we should change the subject because I think that the Epstein subject is important. All that said, on the merits of the case here, I do agree with Trump. You know what's fascinating? When your metabolism is working properly, you feel the benefits in literally every aspect of your life. I've discovered an incredible tool that gives me insights to create a healthy metabolism for my body. It's called Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It measures your metabolism through your breath, and the app tells you if you're burning fat or carbs, then provides personalized guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. Using it couldn't be simpler. I breathe into my Lumen first thing in the morning to understand my metabolism and get personalized nutrition planned for the day. I can also check back before and after workouts and meals to know exactly what's happening in my body in real time. Here's why this matters. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body turns food into fuel. When it's optimized, you'll experience better energy levels, improved fitness results, and even better sleep. Lumen gives you all the recommendations you need to improve your metabolic health, helping you to make informed decisions about your nutrition and lifestyle. The warmer months are here, spring back into your health and fitness. Go to lumen.me/Walsh to get 10% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/Walsh for 10% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. I mean, I've been saying this myself since forever. I don't think it's the kind of issue we need the president to be focused on right now, but because it doesn't rise to that level. But I agree in principle that, yeah, the name should not have been changed. Trump also wants to bring back the Cleveland Indians name, and that's another one that should not have been changed. I agree. Mainly, though, I wanted to talk about this angle for a minute. Because you hear this kind of argument all the time from the left, and somebody posted this. It has like 60,000 likes, 10 million views. It's an argument that resonates on the left. You hear this a lot when we talk about the names of teams. And so I'll put that up on the screen. You can see it there. The account is ironically suggesting that rather than change the Cleveland name back to the Indians, we should call the team the Whites and have a mascot of a white guy with a mustache and glasses and a fedora. And so the idea is like, well, how would you like this? Oh, you think it's so great to have the Indians as a name? Well, how would you like it, white people? How would you like this if it was called the Whites? And the guy who posted this, by the way, is Indian. It looks like, feather Indian, American Indian. So the point is that we're supposed to find this really offensive or something as white people. But of course, every time the left makes this point, the response from most white people is, hell yeah, that would be awesome. I would totally support a baseball or football team called the Whites or the Fighting Caucasians or whatever you go. Yeah, let's do it. Call our bluff. Let's go ahead and do it. How about the Great Whites? That's a good one. The team is called the Great Whites and the mascot is a Caucasian shark. So it's kind of a combination. It could go either way. It's a shark with a fedora and a good credit score. That's how you know he's a white shark. He's a shark holding up a paper with an 850 credit score. Anyway, I'd have no problem with that. But the irony here, the really funny thing, is that we all know that if some team did change their name to the Whites, which of course would never happen, but if that were to happen, it would not be white conservatives complaining. It would be leftists. Leftists would complain because they would see the team name as a celebration of the white race, which of course isn't allowed. You're not allowed to celebrate white people or show that you're in any way proud of them or anything like that. So they would see it as a celebration, glorification of the white race. And we all know that. It would 100% only be leftists complaining. And they would be hysterical about it. I mean, they would be completely hysterical. So we're supposed to believe that if a team changed their name to the Whites, that there'd be this hysterical reaction from white conservatives, people like me, that I would be completely offended by it. When in reality, it would be, people on the left, they would actually be rioting in the street. They would storm the stadium, okay, and burn it if that were to ever happen. They would be, apoplectic with rage. Absolutely. And again, we all know that. And yet, when a team is named after Indians, so in that case, they would be offended because they'd see, oh, well, you're celebrating white people. We can't do that. But then if you name a team after the Indians, they don't see that as a celebration. They see that as an attack on Indians rather than a celebration or glorification of them, when it is, in fact, the latter. I mean, that's like when you name a team, that's why you name a team after something that you admire, something you think is good, something you think is, something that has some gravitas to it. That's why you name the team after them. That's why you're never going to have a football team called the Philadelphia Wimps or something. It's always something that has, it's the Eagles, right? It's like something, when you name it after animals, you name it after animals that we think of as like strong, right? So, but when it comes to the Indians, that's how they see it. So what's the moral of the story? Well, they'll complain no matter what. That's the moral. And their victim narrative is always vindicated no matter what in their minds. Their victim narrative always is always proven correct, no matter what happens. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.